Welcome to episode 25. It's about daylight again. This is our second daylight episode, and before we get into it, sorry. So, okay, now it's better. Klaus is missing, but it's, I guess, not a big issue for you. But I have to say, for me, it's a bit of an issue because this is a topic where Klaus is better from an expert point of view. He knows more about the parts I want to show you today. Again, it's about daylight again. We had an episode yet, and in planning the episode, 2 episodes before, the first episode with daylight, 2 episodes ago, we thought about much more what we want to show you, but it was too much for 1 episode. So we decided to split it and have 2 episodes about it. And so this is the second half of daylight. And today we focus more on daylight efficiency. So on how to measure, how to display, how to calculate the efficiency of daylight in our scenes, our environments, our rooms. Yeah, and this is also an episode where we are going to show you in practice more as in theory. So we jump also right now into RELUX desktop and go deeper into what we have in daylight efficiency. Okay, so I share my screen. Just 1 second. I checked that it's the right one. This was the wrong one. Now we have the right screen. And now you should be able to see my RELUX desktop installation here. I have prepared an scenery for daylight, no artificial lights in it, just windows, just daylight in the scene here. And it's also the same example which we presented 2 episodes ago. So it's really the same, but here today I want to show you some different parts of the daylight calculations. So let's also check in 3D how it looks, and it's a nice simple room with 2, or more. It's about 4 desks, so an office space for 4 workers, employees, desk workers, and we have on the outside. It's important also for daylight. We have here some element which casts a bit of a shadow inside the room with daylight, or it even blocks some direct nice daylight from coming in. This should be in 3 and normal 3, but just the foundation of the 3 and not the topic of the 3. But for our stuff, what we are investigating here, it's quite enough to have just a column in representation of a 3. Yeah, so this is the scenery, and 2 episodes ago we have checked a lot of daylight glare stuff about the daylight ratio and all the stuff, and now we're going more into the efficiency. So, and this first stuff I want to show you is hidden in project efficiency. Here in the project ribbon, we have here the efficiency calculation options for artificial light, which is another topic, and we have here the daylight efficiency parts. And this daylight parts, I'm quite sure that not all of you have checked this out in the past courses. Okay, why we should calculate or be interested in daylight efficiency. And I will show you why you should at least give it a try and check it out what is possible. So I just click on it and I end up with a user interface and dialog where I can set up my things for this calculation. We have here the possibility to have different multiple groups. Groups means you have areas in your scenery with different illuminations, for example, illumination needs. So this means we have here 500 lux in need for the scenery. This is how much we want to have for the desks. So 500 lux is according 12464 the basic requirement. We have here the daylight factor. Daylight factor means, this is 2 episodes ago, daylight factor means how much of the light coming from the outside to the inside, or how many light is blocked by our building. So here the 5 means 5% of the daylight coming into the room, and 95% is blocked by our abstraction, by our building or room, whatever. And 5% sounds a bit of less, bit of minimum, but it's quite okay. I have to say this is quite normal. I will also add here an 3, just to have a difference between these two lines to see what happens if I have a different daylight factor. This daylight factor you can also calculate in RELUX, also possible. It's not, but here in this case you have to enter it directly, and also the installed power you can read out in RELUX after a calculation of an artificial situation. The installed power is how much energy your artificial luminaires will consume in this zone. So let's say in this 3% daylight factor, we spend 200 watts on electricity power into the lighting, and on the 5% we spend 120 watts in electricity power for our lights. Down below we have here 0.3 kilowatt hours per 0.3 euros per kilowatt hour. So this is the price of the for the power, the electricity price here. 0.3, I guess it's in default from really long ago, but it fits quite well today, at least for the Central European areas. Depending on where we are in Germany, I guess we have the highest prices in power electricity, and yeah, you can enter what is realistic to you, and you get the benefit that you get the efficiency, the costs also in a currency and not just in power. Okay, that's all what we can do here. Now we go into times. For all efficiency calculations, you need to enter a couple of, let's say, boundaries for the usage times. So for knowing if the light is needed in the room, you need to know when the room is used. So maybe 25 hours. But realistically, in an office environment, as we have it here, you have something like from 8 to 5 in the evening. So here you can set up the working days, what kind of working days you have, how many working days you have, and the times. Also individually on single days, if you like. Also, you can enter here breaks. So this is a lunch break from 12 to 1, for example, is entered here. You can have multiple breaks. Also, you can enter holidays if you have. This is going all into the efficiency calculation. Also, here you have an option of day saving time, but this is more or less an cosmetical stuff in the diagrams we will see, and it's not so important for the overall. Okay, and next interesting part is the sun probabilities. So this is a field where we need to enter, or where we should enter how much in percentage the sun is directly visible or directly has an access to our scenery, to our room. The 40 here means that 40% of the time the sun has the option to enter our room, and this is depending on the area where you are located or where the project is located. And also, I guess, a bit like the weather, I have no clue where this data coming from in origin. This is a quite old part of our software. It's also said that Klaus is missing. Klaus maybe know where comes this information from. And here we need to enter the city where we want to have this project. And I just enter here Basel. And let's see if we found something on Basel. Oops, I was too fast, sorry. I just hit enter and enter into the calculation. Just once back, sorry. Now we have here Basel. It's not correct. We have to search for Basel. Yeah, here I can enter for Basel. Exactly. And here I found also Basel as in city. And in Basel, just remove the filter. And in Basel, you can see we have not 30% coverage from January to the summer and to December again. Here we have some kind of curve where we start with 27% in the winter time and goes up to 50% in the summertime. the sun probability. And here you found a large list of all kinds of cities around the globe with all sun probabilities. You need not to Google about it. You have it here directly in the application. I hope nobody has entered this by hand. This is a really, really large list with sun probabilities of the, let's say, the major cities of the globe. You can search for it here by filtering. You can also shrink or minimize the breakouts. And then you can go here for example, Europe, and then for Germany, and then for one of this complete list of German cities here, and just click one of them and you have the sun probabilities. But I go back again to my user defaults Basel one and want to have here the Basel stuff. So this is almost all. We have here also some values for the Isolux curves we will see in short. And then we can go to calculation. And once again, I hit the calculation button. And what I want to show you first is this diagram. This diagram is this we call ISO curve or Isolux curves. And this is a diagram where we can see how good the sunlight from outside hits our requirements in the inside. So here we have in the lower area we have the month. So each section is 1 month from January to December. And here on this axis, on the y-axis, we have the time from 4 o'clock to in the evening 8 o'clock. And you can see with these lines on which day, on which date and time we have what kind of sun intensity. So for example, this dark blue circle here means this is an area of 70,000 lux. This means we have from 9 o'clock in the morning in summer in Basel to 15 in the evening, 3 o'clock in the evening. We have here an area of 70,000 lux in summertime. And in wintertime in Basel, it goes down to, let's say, 20,000 lux here just on the midday. And here we have the boundaries where we need to add artificial light. Because we have told in this dialogue that we have the office use from 8 to 5 in the evening, and in this area where we don't have this 10,000 lux from outside, we need to have artificial light. But why 10,000? Why not 500 lux? 500 lux is quite enough. But we are here from outside to inside, and the factor between outside and inside is the daylight factor. And the daylight factor, if it's 5% in our first group area, then we need outside 10,000 lux to have inside 500 lux. And in another group where we have 3% for our 500 lux on inside, we need outside 16,600 lux. And that's why we have here different areas. For the lower daylight factor, we need, of course, more artificial light. And there's also a difference between clear sky and cloudy sky. In the cloudy sky environment, we have, of course, less light from outside. And here we have a really big area, in wintertime or in autumn in Basel, you need to have artificial light in a way. And in summertime, it's possible to have the office run completely without any artificial light if the sky is as clear as possible. If it's cloudy, then also maybe you need to have artificial light in summertime in Basel. This is really depending on the location also. So, and then we have a couple of diagrams. This diagrams here shows us quite the same as this Isolux lines, but in a column diagram where we can see the percentage of coverage in the working time with artificial with daylight, so that we need less or non-artificial light in hours, in work hours. And you can see here how many hours you need per year for artificial light. And this is also nice to have in calculation. And with this information, we can go into this diagram, into calculation how much energy in terms of costs. So how many, in our case here, euros, how many euros you can save with this artificial light approach, which is here a couple of €100 cost installation. Wattage is not so high. You can save by year in each group, and if you have a group with more daylight factor, you can save more on this. Okay, this is the Isolux diagrams. I have to say this is quite interesting to see and to evaluate your daylight with this diagram and with this let's say calculations. This is a nice add-on, I have to say. The second thing I want to show you is a solar attitude, and for this we need to insert a measuring object called solar attitude point. We need to place solar attitude points. I will place two of them. The first of them here in this bright window area with a lot of daylight, and the second solar altitude point I set here close to the door in the dark corner of the room. And for the solar attitude diagram, it's also important to have, of course, the north angle and the relation to windows. And it's just about the point. It's not about a vector or in direction or in viewing. This is just solar altitude. And with this information, I can go directly to calculation, solar altitude. I skip the daylight calculation. I do not need the daylight factors. I just need the solar altitude. Go to calculation, and now I get a calculation running, and I end up with two diagrams. It's not economics. This is our bright point, and here we have a solar altitude diagram, which tells us when and where the point we have set is facing directly the sun. So where's a directly sun impact, or where this point can see the sun directly, the direct sun impact. This is also an point. The direct sun approach is also something where what we have in the EN 17037. It's also endpoint, the direct sun. And with this tool here, with the solar altitude diagram, you can calculate and have this diagram for your location, for your scenery, for a specific dot calculated and displayed. This diagrams is some kind like a fisheye lens on the camera. So this is let's say, a view of our room from this point for above. So here we have the north angle, here we have the south. This is and here we have the room in a way, and we have here in the middle we have the altitude of the sun. So this is the 90 degree here in the middle is the up position in the middle, and here we have the side area of it. The green lines is the time. We have here on this side the date. We have here the 21st of December. This means this is the winter sun direction change. And here we have the same in the sun. This is the 21st of June. This means here we have a northern of the northern sphere of the globe, the date where the sun is as much north. And here we have the turning point in the middle. In March and in September. So this is the seasons more or less displayed on the sun with dates, and here we have the hours of the day where the sun is up. So in summertime we have here from 5 o'clock to 7, 8 in the evening. Again in Basel, this changes dramatically from the point of the globe, and here we have, so to say, the time. And in winter, the sun is up from 8 to 4 in the evening. So this is realistic, I have to say. And here you can see where the sun is up. And the yellow area means in this dates and times, the sun is direct visible to our spot. And this is a difference in the point which is close to the glass, to the windows, and this is the point which is far away from the glass. where here we have less sun, and also in geometry in a different area. And for example, also I want to show you if you have obstacles in outside. So I just delete my nice beautiful 3 here and entered and let's say and wall outside. I enter here in big sun shield blocking concrete wall because we have too much daylight in it. We want to prevent the glaring, so we create a concrete wall. It's maybe a bit too close. Too close is not legal. So, okay, 1 meter distance. Okay, it's okay. 1 meter is okay. It's not legal, but it's okay. And now I just do it again, and you can see the calculation is quite fast. It's just a button, and we get instantly the results in a way. And you can see here's really, really less sunlight coming on point 1 and also point 2, because this massive wall blocks a lot of this direct sun impact. It's just a direct sun impact. It's not something in reflectance. It's just direct point to sun connection in a visible line. Yeah, and I think this is also a great diagram to use to show, and it's also according EN 17037, the daylight, the European daylight standard. And this is this is in RELUX desktop for ages, so close to the beginning, and most of the new users have never seen it, and the old users maybe forgot it, but this is really useful for daylight calculations. And yeah, and also maybe interesting if you have some photovoltaic installations. You can also calculate here how much sun your solar cells may be getting in touch with. It's also possible to use these points outside. We have all kinds of geometric information in it, as you have seen. So this is it. So this is what I want to show you today. And let's go to the questions. So I stop here my screen sharing and go into my questions here. And if you have some, you can give me some questions. I try to answer as best as I can, but I have to say I'm not the deepest expert in this. So this is really makes me Klaus missing, but I give my best. Okay, first question. Hi, for solar altitude, I assume the evaluation within the building is also important. Does this mean the Z values needs to be correct? Yes, you need to have the, at least for the building itself, you need to have the Z values entered, and also in relation to the obstacles before the windows. It's of course important to have the right altitudes of it. The overall altitude about the sea level, this is all included in the geometrically position. So this is not needed, but this has of course also an impact. Yeah, we in Switzerland know what altitudes can do you in terms of sun altitude. Good. Yeah, just a nice comment. Thank you for this. Greetings. And last chance to hit another question. I know this topic is maybe a bit outside your daily work, but keep in mind that something like this is possible. And yeah, it's also okay that we have not more questions. We have now half an hour in this episode, which is quite enough. It must not every time be 45 minutes. And this gives me the opportunity to have a bit of promotion for our next episode. Our next episode is episode 26, and on the 23rd of September. Also again here in Central Europe on 2 o'clock in the evening. And if you understand German, it's also possible to watch us in German at 10 o'clock Central European time in the morning. Or we try also to always to keep on Thursday, and the 21st of September is on Thursday. And the topic is dynamic visualization. This is a really interesting topic. I'm eager to do this episode since weeks and to show you what astonishing stuff we have done with RELUX Desktop in the past weeks and months. We have a new kind of visualization in preparation, and this is a really nice view option to visualize, to go into your design directly within view with just one click to have a better visualization as ever before. Okay, so thanks much for watching us, and hope you are again here on the 21st of September to watch our new episodes. And thanks, and have a nice day. Goodbye.